Very good evening, my friends. I'm Clive Williams, and this is Professor Gay Lewis.
Good evening, Dr. Williams. How are you today?
I'm good. I'll tell you something real funny, Gail. Got to share a couple of things with you. I did a earlier show, right?
I know. I came in and you were already on the air with someone else. You're cheating on me, Dr. Williams.
No. It's not like that. I know you'd have the police on me. No, but seriously. So I did that show.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm about to get out the door. And I bump into Tony and Donovan.
Who are our guests this evening.
I'm about to say, what are you guys doing here? Yeah, but seriously, it's been busy. And when you get busy, stuff happens. You know, we've been blessed with some great weather, right? Today,
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Today was just a
I think of it as a blessing because it is Black History Month. So it's like we are celebrating with the weather, and we are celebrating in the studio, of course, because we've got 4 amazing people of color on today.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. 4 amazing people of color. You know, Annette and I saw a person of color doing something off color. Today, we're driving in the Laurelton area, and it says to me, "It's summer at last." I said, "What are you, crazy?" And she points to this young lady. Young lady has shorts, tank top, and
she's been working her body all winter long, waiting for this day. Let me tell you.
It's summer.
If I were working that hard today, I'd have been in a tank too. But instead, I'm in skinny jeans because I'm not really skinny yet.
No, I don't talk about
because
skinny.
I'm thinking that we still got time, but it's warm.
Yeah. But you know, we have a really serious show lined up. Black businesses are in trouble.
Absolutely. I'm so excited that we're doing this show during Black History Month because we are discussing, we've got some entrepreneurs. So we've got people who are really doing it in the Black community as far as small business. And we've got people who help we've got 2 other people on who are remote, who are helping Black businesses and other businesses really excel, and those are 2 people of color as well. So they're all men. I'm sorry, ladies, I'm the only estrogen on the show again today, but I will represent and
that's some estrogen. Don't hold it against me. You know, it's the 2 gentlemen that we're going to be talking to in the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Are 2 men that I'm going to ask the question to. How can Black businesses survive and thrive in this economy? Mm-hmm. Let me say it again, because Winston and Andrew, that's part of what I'm going to be asking you to address. How can Black businesses survive? Just start with the survive part at the get-go before we get to the thrive part, right? We got to achieve one first.
And we've got Winston Thompson Cpa and also Andrew Walcott Cpa /ESQ. He's also an attorney.
Yeah, so they are more than qualified to answer that question. Let me welcome Winston Thompson, who has been an ally over the past several I would say years, because I made contact with him first just when the pandemic started. And Winston was referred to me by an old friend of mine. And since then, his business acumen and skills have become more and more evident to me. And because of Winston, I was also put in touch with Andrew. Mm-hmm. And Andrew Walcott is an attorney and also a CPA. So we have 2 people who are more than qualified to address the question that I asked. And if you're just joining us on Facebook, whether it's on Our World Facebook page or whether it's Where It's At Facebook page, ourworldmedia.com, wherever you're joining us, a Roku, then just call a friend and ask them to tune in on the show, because this is information that you are going to be needing, not just now, but in the future. Mm-hmm. So, folks, I want to thank my engineer and my intern for making this happen. So let's start with Winston. Sir, very good evening to you. How are you?
Good evening.
You realize
Having
you realize that we've been on the phone with each other for over 2 years, and finally we meet.
Finally, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, the pleasure is mine.
we live in a new world, right? The new world that we live in is one that we make contact these days remotely, but
Sure.
doesn't. Yeah, there's a slight delay, Winston. So we might be stepping on each other's lines from time to time. So I'll just back off and allow you to talk. I also want to introduce Andrew Walcott. Andrew, are you there? Yes.
Yes,
How
I
are you,
am.
sir?
I am good, Clive. How are you and Gail today?
Good, good. Andrew Walcott.
Hi, Andrew.
Interesting with Andrew because you see his face. He has a little baby face thing going,
Absolutely.
right? I say that, Andrew, because I have a lady next to me. So I wouldn't have said that if I was by myself. Yeah. So this gentleman, very accomplished. So looking at his bio,
His CV.
I saw, yeah, he's working at one place for 20 years. So I says, he must have started working while he was in school. So Andrew heads up an incredible restaurant, Fusion East.
Yes.
Right.
Caribbean
So-
and Soul.
Yeah, so he'll tell us more about that. But in addition to that, man is an attorney and a CPA, right? Some achievement, right? So these two experts are going to be talking to us, and I'm going to direct the question to you both, Andrew. I want Winston to start the ball rolling by introducing himself to our audience. So, Winston, please, pleasure is yours.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Williams and Dr. Lewis. It's my pleasure to be here and the opportunity to be among your audience and to share with you who I am and our firm and to have your audience get a better understanding as to what we do. Well, I spent, after college, spent about 8 years with a large public accounting firm. And that experience led me to opportunity to work on Wall Street with one of the major banks. It was J.P. Morgan. That was about 2 years or so. And shortly after that, I decided to start my own firm. And that was 30 plus years ago. And it's been a very successful and rewarding and what should I say, very informative years. I learned quite a lot. I learned, all the mistakes that one can make in business so that I don't have to make them anymore. I learned the different things that can help small business grow and expand. And so I've had a great opportunity to work with a number of firms and organizations over the years. We've built a great team of accountants and CPAs with different skill sets. I don't know if you've mentioned the name of the firm, which is Thompson Company CPAs. We have three offices, one in Brooklyn, one in Long Island, and also in New Jersey. So we provide a wide range of services from attestation services, which is audit services. We provide accounting services, which is very common. We've been discussing that. We provide tax services, which entail not just preparation of taxes, but also tax planning and also financial planning services. So all of these different areas are embodied into helping small business grow and expand. I would say that it's not so much about these particular areas of expertise and services, but it's how they are integrated and how they are applied to the needs of one's businesses. And so it's a question of what the company plans to do how they are designed and how they're structured, what is their business plan, what is their mission, and then we then react to that either directly or we offer other ideas and solutions that will help that business grow and expand. Now, I must take the opportunity to say that the experience has been that a lot of small businesses aren't really receptive to accountants or to tax preparers because they see it just as a compliance issue and something that they just have to do, not necessarily something that they all want to do in a lot of cases. And that doesn't apply to everyone. There's others that see this as a real important need to grow their business. So one of the things that we have done over the years is to ensure that we communicate the right message to small businesses, and that led us to not just to offer services, accounting services or tax services, but to really talk to businesses about their success. How do they define success to them, right? And instead of us marketing accounting and services, we'd like to say we're marketing success, because the entrepreneur is a lot more receptive to their success. After all, that's why they're in business. They're there to expand, grow their business, and make a profit and build wealth for themselves and their families. So if the message is about that, then I think, not I think, we've got them to listen a lot more than looking at us as accountants and tax preparers or tax planners.
I thank you for that. And, what you have caused me to do is to kind of double think as to why there's this gap between the accountant and the recipient of the accountant services, the consumer. Why there's this gap. And it comes to my mind almost immediately that maybe accountants can also take a step in reaching out to small businesses in a friendly way. I think the playing field has got to be leveled. I'm thinking of the average immigrant who understands at some point in the game that they have to comply. They have to do their returns, or they should do their returns. And they want to talk to an accountant. But accountants seem so very professional, so very aloof, so very high on the totem pole, that they are afraid. They're afraid of the potential cost.
Yeah.
And they're afraid of the intimidation factor. Going to this man who is so well versed in numbers, what was this going to do to me? So I think on both sides we need to make a compromise. So in the interest of people like myself who advertise people's businesses, I would say that accountants need to advertise some more, maybe. What do you think?
Well, yes, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's the interpretation of the business person with regard to what they're looking for from the accountant. I think also on the accounting side,
they don't know. They often don't know, Winston.
That's true. That's true, and that's probably some of the weaknesses with accountants as well. They need to communicate to small businesses with respect to what the business person's needs are. What is it that they'd like to achieve with their business? Not so much what services they need, but what would they like to achieve with their business? How would they like to? What do they like to? Where would they like to see their business in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How would they like to scale their business?
Mm-hmm.
What markets are they going after? How are they managing with regard to financing that business? Have they thought about this? Do they have a business plan? Let's go back to that basic scenario. And I think the accountant need to say to them, look, we can help you achieve your goals as long as we understand what each of us needs to do in terms of making this happen.
Yeah, that's a good place to segue now to Andrew, because I hope I'm not taking tales out of school, but certainly you do business with Andrew. You might very well be Andrew's advisor and accountant, and this is if this is so, then it's a really good example of the kind of synergy that can happen for success in terms of reaching out to an accountant, because Andrew is himself an accountant. So why would he hire an accountant? That's a little bit of a conundrum there. Andrew, speak to that, man.
Well, I'm a CPA and I understand the importance of accounting. And I understand the importance to long-term success of knowing what your numbers are, knowing what your net income is on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, an annual basis, knowing how much debt you may have on your balance sheet. So with that knowledge in mind, from the day I opened a business, I hired a CPA, and that's been Winston from day one, because there's no way I can really grow the business and scale it without having reliable financial statements behind it. I mean, I don't see any successful company that has ever done it otherwise. And many times in my prior life, when I had my own accounting and law practice, many times I'd go to clients' offices and they would just give me a bag of bills for the year and ask me to prepare financial statements. And there's no way I can do that in the time frame they would give me. But they just weren't ready to take their business to the next level. I mean, you need to have maybe not an accountant from day one. If you can't afford it, then at least maybe a bookkeeper or someone on board, even internally or externally, who can help you keep your books and records in order. Because it's critical when programs come up like PPP and idle loans and other grants that came about in the last year or so. You can't qualify for them if you don't have your paperwork straight. And it's not always racism that keeps us out of the door. Sometimes we just don't have the documentation we need to get in the door in the first place. And that's where an accountant is key to help us get into that door. And not only that, if you want to get a loan to expand your business, every bank is going to ask for tax returns, balance sheets, income statements. For PPP, they want to see your 941 payroll reports. So if you want to take your business to the next level, it's critical that you have your paperwork straight. And that's where a CPA or an accountant or even a bookkeeper can help you get on that pathway to success.
Now you're a interesting mix. I'm sure Gail is gonna get to you in a minute, but while I have you, you also own your own business. Apart from being a CPA, apart from being an attorney, you own a business. So you're qualified to talk about the difficulties, the challenges, and so forth that small businesses face. What kind of difficulties did you face?
Well, I own Fusion East Caribbean and Soul Food Restaurant here in East New York. We provide dine-in, takeout, catering, food truck, and cafeteria services to the public. As you can imagine, trying to open up a fine dining restaurant in East New York is difficult to begin with. No one believes it could happen.
I'm one of those.
Well, we've been around 6 years. We're doing something right.
Right.
And in the space that we occupy, the company is a national franchise. They lasted 6 months, and we've lasted 6 years. So I think we've been doing something right the past couple of years. So we want to keep on doing what we do over here in East New York and hopefully expand it to other areas. But in terms of difficulties, it's never easy just to get financing, especially in trying to open up a restaurant in a poorer neighborhood anywhere in this country, especially say East New York or Brownsville. No one believes that it can be done. So to open up Fusion, I have to use some of my own money, over a couple of $100,000 of my own money, and qualify for a loan. I'm also on the board of Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, and they introduced me to a bank, NYBDC, which came up with the loan capital to help me to open up Fusion East in addition to my own capital. But you need to have, friends or connections along the way to make things happen. But I couldn't have done it solely with my own funds. So you got to have access to capital to some degree to make your dream come true. And many times, most banks will not loan to businesses like this in East New York. Because right across the street from us is a huge, successful mall called Gateway Center Mall.
Right.
And you have all the national franchises in there like Applebee's, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, with multi-billion-dollar balance sheets. So what's the chance that a small independent is going to survive right next door to those? Well, we don't try to compete directly with them. Our menu is unique. We'll have things on our menu that they won't offer. like oxtail, curry goat, shrimp and grits, things along that nature, that more so fits the demographics of the local community. We'll also do things like karaoke and live bands and live jazz, sip and paint, things that they just can't do with the national franchises, but that we know the community wants. So you have to do things differently, and you got to be able to get access to capital to really try and make your dream come true.
I'm glad you mentioned. And by the way, before I say that, you're an outstanding example of a young man who has done tremendously well. And I believe that just my audience who might be looking at you and saying, it's tough, it can't be done. You're an example that it can be done. But then there are others who will say, Andrew, that, hey, you went to college, you got some serious degrees, so it must be a lot easier for you. What do you say to people like that?
Well, you're always going to have challenges. Like I said, it was tough to get a bank to say yes to giving us money, not giving us, but lending us money here in the East New York area. We live and operate in a high crime neighborhood where incidents happen not too far from our doorsteps. But you are always going to have challenges in life. I mean, I see the challenges as opportunities to get better. So I don't care how bad a certain event may happen. I may have bad events or moments, but I never have a bad day. I enjoy what I do. Everything that I went to school for, I get to use every day in my business. Whether it's my accounting background, my bachelor's degree, whether it's my legal background as an attorney, or whether it's my business background, my MBA, everything I went to school for, I get to utilize it every day in my business. And I never had that kind of opportunity in the corporate world, where I was general counsel at some places, chief financial officer, chief auditors for different multinational places. But I've never had the fulfillment and the enjoyment of my job like I have right now. And I don't consider what I do to be my job. I'm going to Fusion every day. I don't go to work. And I only work about 5 minutes from home. So I don't have that long commute that I used to have going into the city. And I don't have to deal with some of the corporate stuff that I had to deal with back in the past. I truly enjoy what I do. And I don't go to work any day. I go to Fusion.
Andrew, 2 quick questions before we have to let you go. First, why was it important for you to, I mean, I know it was a challenge to get a loan to open up in your community. Why was it important for you to open up in your own community where you work, where you live and own? And also, second, why fusion food? Why Caribbean and soul food? And what's your favorite dish on the menu? So it's 3 questions.
Well, my favorite dish is the jerk salmon. You got to come by one day and try it out. You'll love it. The reason I opened it up in my community, because when I would hang out back in the days, I mean, all the time, me and my friends would always have to go to Manhattan somewhere or downtown Brooklyn at best to find a place nice to take a lady. And we have a lot of people in the East New York, Canarsie, East Flatbush, Brownsville, Starrett City area. I never understood why we had to travel like 45 minutes to go somewhere to go out and have a good time. You can easily travel from East New York to the city in 45 minutes. Then you may have to wait another 15 minutes to find a park. So that's an hour right there. And then you got to hope there's not a line once you get there to get inside. I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't have a nice family-oriented restaurant right here in our own neighborhood that we can attract our own clientele. And when I saw the success of the restaurants in Gateway Mall, I mean, they were proving that it can't be done.
There's always a way at those restaurants.
Yeah, their menus are not really tailored to the demographics of the community. So I created Fusion because the area in East New York is predominantly Black Caribbean and Black American. So I wanted a restaurant that appealed to both my American friends and my Caribbean friends. And I didn't see that kind of menu at any of the locations inside the mall. So I saw an opportunity there, and I wanted to seize that opportunity.
Thanks, Andrew. And we'll see you for salmon real soon.
Oh yeah, did you just extend an invitation?
Yes.
Okay.
To both of you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Open invitation.
That evens out things a little bit. So you mentioned curry goat and oxtail and so forth. I have 2 gentlemen in the studios with me, and we're going to be talking to them later because folks don't understand that there are opportunities in almost every segment of our community. There are those like yourself, Andrew, who you open a restaurant, a sit-down place. And there are those who say, well, look, we are going to cater to those people who are so busy at work, who have absolutely no time left over to come home, prepare a meal.
So
we're-
before we take a break, I'm sorry, and before we let Andrew go, Andrew, while we still
We're not letting him go just yet.
okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. We're not letting
Andrew,
him go.
but before we move on, Andrew, tell us where can we find Fusion East? Tell us the address and where we can find you on social.
1179 Elton Street, Elton, Elton Street, Brooklyn, New York, 11239. And on social media, it is Fusion East BK on Facebook and Instagram, and it's fusioneastny.com is our website.
Great. Fusion East BK on social. Thanks.
Yep. So Andrew, you made a statement. I want to bring Winston in on this as well. Is there a way we can have both of them up, guys? The statement you made in a conversation that you and I had, it was a statement that wasn't lost on me at all. You said that there's a window of opportunity for black business people, for black people, period, that has opened up in America. And that window won't be open for very long. What do you mean by that?
Well, we have movements in Washington and even locally, where with the PPP and all the other programs out there help small businesses, where there's money available, money that I've never seen available to small businesses before in my lifetime. I think we really need to try and get as much of that money as we can while it's available. And there are a lot of movement right now to invest or find success stories in the black community to showcase what can be accomplished on a federal, state, and a local level. I mean, we have a new mayor. We have a governor who is running for re-election right now, is trying to make friends. And we have a president who really is in office due to black people voting for him en masse, especially in South Carolina back in the primaries and beyond that. So if there's a time in our history to think big and try to make big things happen, it's right now, before the next election, and things may change to some degree in Congress. If you really want to get things moving, especially here in New York City to some degree, I think now is the time. There's a good chance that maybe Hakeem Jeffries might become Speaker of the House in the very near future. He's from Brooklyn here in New York.
Yeah.
The Speaker or the Senate Majority Leader is also from Brooklyn. I mean, we've never seen that in my lifetime. So I think there's opportunities out there. If you're prepared, if we take advantage, the opportunities are available right now.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I want Winston to weigh in on that point as well. Winston?
Can you unmute Winston, please?
Last year, the federal government as well as the states provide a number of different opportunities for small business to participate in. Unfortunately, a lot of small business did not pull the plug and actually assert themselves effectively to capitalize on that opportunity. And I think partly because, one, they may not have been prepared to address some of the requirements that was placed on them from the federal, state, and city governments. And as a result, they were not able to participate. There are still a lot of opportunities that are out there that is available. And I think it's just a question of them applying themselves and realize that, as Andrew said, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for small business to capitalize on this. We've worked with a number of small businesses in helping them to fill out the forms, provide the information, and pursue the efforts necessary to obtain the PPP loans and the EIDL loans, as well as to provide the tax information that they need to support this. So I would say that for small businesses that have not yet participated, and if they've applied and they have not yet been successful, but they are being reconsidered, our firm is able to help them to navigate their way forward to success in that area.
Do you guys happen to know when the window might close on the availability of many of these loans, the PPP, the EIDL loans? Do you have any, whether you're projecting or
Yeah, the PPP loan is closed pretty much, as far as I know, back in August of
Correct.
last year. The application for EIDL, the last date was December 31, 2021. So, unless they reopen some gateway in that regard, we keep watching for that. There isn't an opportunity for a new applicant to apply. But what I'm talking about, a number of people have applied and have been um, declined, and they can reapply for reconsideration. So a lot of people don't know that, because I've spoken to small businesses where they've been declined, but they didn't realize that they could apply for reconsideration. So we've worked with them to do that, and now they're on track for another chance to get a fair share of those funds. So those are the people that I'm talking about that still have a chance to participate in that program.
here's a bit of a technical question, Winston. What about applicants who have drawn down on the ideal loan, but they have not drawn the entire amount they were assigned, they were
Yes.
allocated? What should they do?
They can apply for an increase in the amount, because there's an amount that they started with a standard amount of 150,000, and then they provide an opportunity for people to increase that to $500,000, and then later on you could increase that number from $500,000 to $2 million. I've worked with small businesses that have applied for $500,000, and they've received a good portion of that, and then they've applied for the 2 million, and a few of them have received it, believe it or not. And those loans are at a very low rate, around 3.75% per annum, and that's a major opportunity. But even if some small business may not be able to take on a $2 million debt, and they can withstand, say, $500,000, and they didn't receive that amount, they can apply for an increase in that amount.
Gentlemen, I'll tell you this. I've looked across all channels repeatedly because I'm a little bit of a news buff. And very rarely, if any, do I come across two experts who are black men on any of these programs. And usually, if not all the time, the real expert in our communities are the people who work with people who look like them, who look like us. And I don't see on the other channels experts like yourselves being featured, being given an opportunity to talk to the community that you know so well, that you're an expert on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of redress that. I'm going to make sure that I invite you gentlemen back to inform our community, to keep them up to date on what's happening in this economy. So, in answer to my question, how can black businesses survive and thrive in this economy? You have gone to some extent in giving us some of the pointers. Now, we certainly want to dig deeper. I thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to catching up with you sometime soon. It has been a pleasure.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks,
too.
Winston. Thanks, Andrew. Remember, you can find Fusion East on social at Fusion East BK. And of course, visit them for the world's famous salmon that they've got there.
Winston, give us a number that you're.
Oh,
you reach
yes,
that.
right. It's Thompson Company. Telephone number is 718-875-0556. So that's 718-875-0556. And our website is thompsoncompany.com.
You better spell that because some people spell Thompson kind of different.
Yeah, well, it's
The traditional spelling.
THOMPSON, company, spelled out COMPANY.com.
Thank you, sir. And Andrew, we're going to take you up on that that offer.
Andrew, we'll see you at Fusion East. Thanks.
Just I must remind
Thank
you,
you very much.
Gail really likes salmon. She really likes salmon.
absolutely.
So you better have salmon in stock, sir. All right,
We'll
thank
make
you.
her a believer.
We'll come on karaoke night because he loves karaoke. Remember, you can follow us on Instagram at Our World Media and watch us on YouTube live at Our World Media 1. And we've got some other people who are great business people with us this evening.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking to my friend Tony Bowen and Donovan Wiles. We'll be right back. Gentlemen, take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for a taste of the South? Well, honey, come on down to Carolyn's. We have fried chicken, catfish, whiting, barbecue beef ribs, mac and cheese, and some collard greens, freshly made desserts, and much, much more. We're located at 2564 Hempstead Turnpike in East Meadow. Order online at carolyns.kitchen and receive 5% off your first order.
Make sure to download the WGJS Radio app from the Apple Store or from the Google Play Store.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
What do we do? You may not be able to plan ahead for a ghost encounter.
Under the dining table now!
But you can plan ahead for natural disasters. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts.
Maybe it's the apocalypse.
Know your evacuation routes and decide on a safe emergency meeting location.
Here? I know. I would have picked Orlando.
Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. So pass the Proton Pack to the next generation and visit ready.gov/plan to get started.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Right back with you. I'm Clive. This is Gail right next to me, and this is Conversations with Clive Williams. We had 2 very interesting guests earlier on.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed them. Winston Thompson and Andrew Walcott, both CPAs. Andrew, of course, owner of Fusion East, and they reminded us that as small business people, we need CPAs because they are many benefits, and it's a professional thing to do.
Hey, look, it mightn't, folks, it mightn't even be a CPA, right? But you need somebody to do your accounting efficiently, all right? You just need, it's not a compliance issue, it's a common sense issue.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to be required to pony up some records. The government, you live in America.
Got to pay the bills, and you got to pay the taxes. So the CPA comes in really handy.
Just don't work. Death and taxes, sure. Right? So work with a program.
And you know something else that's a sure thing?
Tell me.
A really good business idea, executed well. And we've got two people with us in studio tonight who came up with a great business plan and are executing it very well. So it's our pleasure to introduce Tony Bowen, CEO of Jamaica Choice Foods. Hi, Tony.
Hi.
And can you introduce?
And this is Donovan Wiles. He's been a brother to me. We're not blood, but we've known each other over 50 years.
Wow.
And he took time out of his own business in Jamaica to come here and be by my side to help me get on the path to a good start for my business.
You guys have been friends for as long as I've been alive, huh? Next thing you're going to tell me I can't count or something? Don't even try. Okay. So, folks, what do you call it? Transparency, whatever. These gentlemen are also my friends. I don't have them on because they're my friends. I have them on because they have been doing something really meaningful, transformational even, in our community. Because, I started a newspaper, which sort of morphed into a magazine, right? And I would love to see other people start newspapers in the community, because what that would mean is that our community is going to be empowered by more information and
we can tell our own stories.
More literacy, and we can tell our own stories accurately, and so forth and so forth. But, I'm not one who believes in sort of jumping on the bandwagon. Kind of be a little bit more original. And when it comes to being original, Tony takes the cake, because the product, I'm going to allow you to describe the product. I won't even try. Absolutely. That you've developed, and the concept behind the product that you've developed. So you go with it, sir.
So my name is Tony Bowen, and my friends call me Tony, but it's Norman George Anthony. And
so I'm West Indian because I have a name, and then I got the name that my friends call me, and then I got the name that the people from back home know me by.
Absolutely.
But this guy, Tony, came up with a really great idea. Tony, tell us what it is.
So I've been looking for an opportunity to get into the restaurant and food business. And the best way for me to highlight my skills was to find something that was not being done before. A part of the food space that was not being represented, and that was Jamaican food. And I decided to...
Now, hang on, Tony. You just said Jamaican food. We're in Southeast Queens. There's a Jamaican restaurant on every corner. Yeah. So you got to be more specific. Jamaican food, how?
In the frozen food space. My apologies. You're so right.
Frozen food?
Frozen food.
Okay, there's grandmothers all over our listening area. Grandmothers watching us on social. Hi, Grandma. Hi, great-grandma. And they are rolling over right now saying, frozen food. But explain.
Absolutely. So our food is all stew-based. Caribbean and African and Latin food for the most part. And in the frozen food space, you need a sauce to keep the product moist.
Right.
And I found that if we froze the food, first we had to put really good ingredients in the product. Mm-hmm. And if we froze the food the way I'm doing it now, I was able to come up with my mother's help, of course, because the recipes are hers. I modified them somewhat to make them more commercially viable, and tested the food with a lot of help from the community, people of all stripes, and also had the help of a nutritionist and lab in Southern California who came back with the numbers that I was looking for it to be, because I just didn't want to do Jamaican food. I wanted to do a healthier option for our people. It's one of the things we don't do very well in our community. Our food tends to be very high in calories and fat, saturated fats, and
Because fats taste so good.
they do.
right.
They do. But in the long term, it's not good for your health.
But you're proving to us that you can have a healthier option, so less fat, less salt, and still have it taste good.
Yes.
And more importantly, still have it be convenient.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about that.
So, in terms of the convenience, my main wish and goal was for the women who take care of us.
Okay, you got to qualify. You're getting into some dark water.
So we're talking about the single moms, and
well, we'll just say anyone who's busy.
Anyone who's busy.
Anyone who has a family, that
Absolutely.
could be a man, a woman,
So
single partners.
It's ready to eat
convenient.
food.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's frozen, it's ready to eat, and it's convenient.
Yes.
So when you came up with this idea just 2 years ago, when you started your company, Jamaica Choice Foods, now you're in 41 supermarkets. How does this happen? Talk to the entrepreneurs, the people out there who look like us, who are sitting on ideas and thinking, I can't do this. Talk to us about those people. What did you do to get into 41 supermarkets in less than 2 years? Almost 42 supermarkets, but we'll talk about that in a moment.
Well, not even 2 full years of operation.
Yeah.
So
And there's a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
6 months. So what's your secret to success? Talk to the people.
So we got our grant of inspection from the USDA only mid-July of last year.
2021.
2021. So we actually did not sell our first product until September 15th,
2021.
2021.
And we're sitting in February, and you're in 41 different supermarkets.
As a matter of fact, I would say 30 days after we started, we were in 28 of those 41.
Wow. Almost a supermarket a day.
Almost.
You were on fire.
Almost.
Jamaica Choice Foods.
And that happened, I started with a young guy that I was mentoring in the business.
The importance of mentorship in our communities.
Absolutely. And we decided we were going to do this the old-fashioned way, because we realized that the food service and the food supermarket industry was being run by a certain segment of the population. And they had a lot of preconceived ideas and notions about us, meaning Black people, Caribbean people, and our food. So there were a lot of closed doors in the beginning, but we worked out a system that we thought would appeal to their sense of, new product, never been done before in the country. There is a niche market of people who are receptive to this kind of cuisine. So we decided to do it the old-fashioned way and hit every single supermarket
Pound on doors.
Pound on doors.
Yeah.
So what are the
Absolutely.
products you carry?
We have brown stew chicken, curried goat, curry chicken, and oxtail.
Why those products?
Those were the main basic four products that most Jamaican families cook at home. You know, that was what was served in my house, basically on repeat every week. So my mom at age 7, Jamaican mothers are always looking out for their sons, and they want to make sure that you can provide for yourself. And my mom was no different. You know, I thought the food served in my house was the best in the world.
Yes.
And I never ate at a restaurant. Everything was
Outside food.
Not at all. Not at all. Everything was prepared at home for me, and I started to watch how she would never write anything down.
No, that seems to be taboo. Like, unless you're in the kitchen with Instagram, you're never going to see it again. Yeah.
And even more amazing, she never measured anything. It was always a pinch of this and a dash of that. So that's how I learned, and
But you have changed that, right?
I've changed that because I wanted to make sure that, as the gentleman before us said, sound business practice. You have to have your product designed in such a way that if an entity other than yourself ever came in and bought the company, for instance, that everything is documented, formularized, that God forbid I left the earth, the company would still carry on.
And quality control.
Absolutely.
Tell me about your experience in, for example, promoting the food. Actually, as a matter of fact, coming to the studio, you were at one of the supermarkets today, right?
I was.
Talk to us.
Is that
about
number 42?
Number 41.
Oh.
And we, a person who shall remain nameless, brought about that number 41 supermarket for us. So one of the misnomers by our Caribbean family is that one, they don't like to eat leftovers, and also that Jamaican food has to be prepared fresh every day and cannot be frozen. So when you mention that the food is frozen, their eyes really open up, and you get some off the cuff remarks about the food. And my retort has always been, just try the food. It will sell itself. So we have embarked on brand recognition for our product, and we've discovered the best way to do that is to go out into the supermarkets and let people try our product.
Samples. Ooh, Jamaica Choice Food samples.
So, the pandemic has been a big challenge for that kind of activity. But, things are calming down somewhat, and people are less hesitant. Thank you. To actually have that human interaction. So we've done this now 3 weeks in a row, and every place that we've gone, they have sold out of product.
Yeah, how did it go?
Again today. They
Where were you today?
We were at Merrick Farms.
Yeah, the farm on Merrick. Yeah,
Boulevard.
the corner of the highway. Yeah.
Absolutely. The owner of the operator of the market He was a little hesitant about the product, as most of them are. But
What is the hesitancy as far as from the business sense? Because we know the hesitancy in our community. Oh, it's frozen. Oh, you should cook you should cook fresh every day. No leftovers. What's the hesitancy on the part of the supermarket owner?
Well, it's a two-part problem. The first being that they will tell you it's too pricey. And, in my sensibilities says to me, it's too pricey for who? For the consumer or for yourselves? And then, nobody's heard of frozen Jamaican food before.
Right. I think we think of patties. That's our frozen Jamaican food. We find patties.
It's the old challenge of stereotyping.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So we've told them, look, we've priced this to make sure that you guys, hit your margins as they exist. Some of them are a little bit more aggressive than others, we'll say. And that's kind of been where most of the rejections have come from, because they don't see how well the product will sell. Their imagination, they have nothing to go off.
Yeah.
So they've been a little reticent to take the product. But, our experience has been people try the food. They see the name. They want to know what the name means.
Jamaica Choice?
Well, Norm D, the brand.
Okay.
And
so what exactly does that name mean, Norm D?
So Norm D,
that's your brand, right?
It is our brand. We're Jamaica Choice Foods LLC DBA Norm D. And when we started, we knew there was a Jamaican choice out there, not making the same foods that we do. They actually make spices and crackers and corned beef and a whole bunch of different product lines. So we wanted to differentiate ourselves, and someone in the family said, hey, make it Norman and Deborah, who was my partner, and I say was exactly a month after we started operations, she suddenly died.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah. So it's been quite a challenge. She was the heart of the operation, and her legacy has been, permanently immortalized with our name. So, we've been introducing people to the brand, and once they've tried it, they realize that this thing tastes good. There's always a challenge trying to tell people that you're trying to feed them in a more healthier manner, give them options that didn't exist before. I mean, we're not competing with the restaurants. God bless them. They've been there a lot longer than we have. But there is a segment of the population that definitely needs healthier options and
that are convenient.
And that are convenient, and that's what we offer.
Donovan, what's your favorite dish?
Curry goat.
Why?
It's a Jamaica number one dish, and Clive can tell you that.
Yeah. So it's curry goat. Name the dishes again. Oxtail.
Curry goat, oxtail, curry chicken, and brown stew chicken. We have
the quality of your the meats that you put in? How do you ensure that?
So we only use halal prepared meats, and for anyone who doesn't understand, halal has to do with the Muslim tradition of how they pray over the meat and how it's slaughtered and how it's brought to market. It's similar in preparation to how our Jewish brothers and sisters prepare their kosher food. So our goat and oxtail is halal, and our chicken is hormone-free and antibiotic-free.
Wow.
We wanted to provide premium ingredients in our products. So we made sure that things like our rice and peas, we don't use the processed coconut cream that a lot of other people do. Donovan is my coconut crusher. He takes the actual fruit and he goes out and breaks it, and we actually grate it every time we make rice and peas.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
This is like out of your kitchen.
The potential for this is incredible. I mean, you know, so we're talking about vision, and you understand that these are cultural Jamaican foods, right? And if you align this to the cultural mainstays of Jamaican culture, repeating myself a little bit, but just to make a point, the music, the athleticism, it is all part. This frozen food offering is all part of that cultural extension, expansion.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I just hope that people pay attention and know that they have an option when you're busy. You have a number of describe the package, how convenient it is, so that people can understand.
You can microwave, right?
You can microwave. You can also put it in a conventional oven. I chose not to promote the conventional oven part of it because people's understanding and attention span are very limited in some cases, and I don't want to be responsible for someone's kitchen going up in smoke. So,
and a microwave is easy, and it's microwave packaged.
Absolutely.
You just pop it in.
So we did a lot of research on the, in addition to the food, you know, and the nutritional numbers, we tried to make sure that none of our product was 500 calories. Everything is under 500. The highest being our brown stew chicken at 460 calories.
Wow.
The lowest, 390 calories, is our curry chicken. So we went in. I spent 6 months in the frozen food section of a bunch of supermarkets with frozen food managers, trying to learn the business, what makes frozen food what it is, you know, from the packaging to how it's stored at prime temperature in the freezers. So I went offshore because when I initially tried to get the package made here in the States, you know, they were talking about $4 plus.
Wow, for the packaging.
For the packaging. So I found some friends who was able to get it for me under $1.
Wow.
Very often when I talk to printers about, you know, reorders and trying to get new packaging, they tell me that the quality of our box is of the highest caliber.
Even the box is good.
The box, yes.
Amazing.
It's I'm very sorry that I don't have one in studio to show you.
That's okay. People can go to Jamaica Choice Foods and you can find them on social and look
Absolutely.
and follow you and see the 41 different regional
Yes,
and
just
local
jump on the
supermarkets you're
website.
in.
Yeah, jump on the website.
Yeah.
Tell us the address, the web address, and
It's Jamaica Choice Foods with an S at the end .com. On Facebook, we're at Jamaica Choice Foods LLC. On Twitter, we're at Norm DJ.
Okay.
look, if you work in your local supermarket, make sure that they're stocking Norm
for
D,
it.
Jamaica
Yeah.
Choice Foods. Tell the boss that this is the new product that everybody's asking about.
Absolutely.
And if you're local, if you're in New York in the local area, you can also get them on Grubhub and DoorDash delivered right to your home. So look
right.
for them there.
Jump on the website, Jamaica Choice Foods with
.com.
an S.com. Gentlemen, thank you so very much. Norman, thanks.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
I
Brother Clive.
alternate between Norman, Tony. You know what I mean?
Who are you
answered
talking to?
Yeah.
I forgot
answer
he's
to
West
anything.
Indian.
Yeah, and Donovan, who has sacrificed greatly. And this is the thing about business, building business as as black people, right? We got to help each other.
Absolutely.
We got to support each other. We got to nurture each other. Let's dispel with that mythology about black people not knowing how to build business. As a matter of fact, that's one of the challenges that Tony faces when he goes into these supermarkets, because owners just don't see black people as serious business people. It's got to stop. When we walk into your door to talk to you about business, make sure that you give us the respect that we should be given. Accord us that respect. We're human, and we have imagination, creativity, and we have the chutzpah to get in there just like you do. We want to do business with you. You do business with us. Thank you very much. This is Conversations with Clive Williams. Say goodbye to my friends and my family, and tell you to make sure you subscribe, follow us on our world media, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And make sure you go to the Chocolate Loft, a venue for private parties, 113-10 Sutphen Boulevard. Ask for Charles. The number is 929-504-9200. That's 929-504-9200. We're going to say good evening. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. We catch up with you.